Norway is one of the world's wealthiest countries, yet the reasons for this are not immediately apparent. Although you would immediately think of the country's oil reserves, keep in mind that many tiny oil-producing countries have significant economic and social challenges. Is Norway's economy ideal, and how did it manage to sidestep the oil curse to become the economic powerhouse it is today? The Norwegian economy has been held up as a model of how a socialist mixed economy may function successfully. Is this the ideal economy, or did it just happen to be another country that struck oil? Hey folks, welcome back to Nations Eco. In this video, we are going to find out to what extent did Norway benefit from its insane wealth. And let us dive in. The intriguing blend of contemporary and traditional furnishings can be found throughout the Norwegian metropolis of Oslo. Norway is, without a doubt, one of the most stunning countries on earth. In addition to its rich culture and great people, its past is fascinating. In addition to a great quality of life, it also features advanced levels of human advancement. Traveling to Oslo, Norway will reward you with a fascinating blend of modern and old furnishings, as well as the excitement of a major city. In terms of history, Norway has traditionally been considered the less important cousin to Sweden and Denmark. The circumstances are not the same as they were yesterday. Its prosperous economy is a key factor in the region's reputation as the home to the world's best level of living. Exports of oil and gas not only keep the economy humming along smoothly, but also ensure that the country will remain among the world's wealthiest for decades to come. Petroleum is a significant contributor to Norway's prosperity. Since the 1970s, it has also reaped huge financial benefits from the export of petroleum. It is also a major supplier of seafood, hydropower, timber, minerals, petroleum, and fresh water. In addition to being the most productive country in the world, it also has the lowest unemployment rate in the world. The high standard of living in Norway is a result of the country's riches and productivity. Jobs in the information technology and telecommunications fields abound in Oslo. Norway also has a very low poverty rate and a very high median pay. The divide between the rich and the poor has narrowed dramatically. The standard of living in Norway is unmatched. The social fabric of Norway will be profoundly altered because of this. Young people today spend a disproportionate amount of time and money in pubs and restaurants compared to their grandparents' and parents' generations. They tend to shy away from living a rustic outdoor lifestyle. Even while Norway's population is on the rise, it's still relatively small at roughly 5 million people, compared to 340 million in the US, 64 million in the UK, and 9.5 million in Sweden. Having a smaller population and greater money makes it much simpler to maintain a high level of living. A high pay rate means that Norwegians have a lot of disposable income. Their average income is higher, and they spend a larger portion of it on living expenses and luxuries than do Americans. Because of this, its high-quality public schools, unique social safety net, and comprehensive health care are all well admired around the world. People in Oslo are known for their high levels of discretionary spending, which contributes greatly to the city's robust economy. Norway unquestionably offers a great quality of life. The government has invested heavily in all of these areas, and the populace as a whole is now highly literate, wealthy, and educated as a result. Large nation with a relatively modest population. Before we talk about the obvious black gold, there are some additional things to think about that are frequently ignored. First and foremost, Norway has a very low population density while having a sizable quantity of acreage, coastline, and waterways. Because of this combination, the money that is gained by both the land and the water can be stretched much further than one might initially believe. The same can be said for Norway's other Nordic relatives, namely Sweden, Finland, Iceland, and to a lesser extent, Denmark. A hand up straight from Mother Nature. Norway has benefited in a variety of different ways thanks to its location on the planet. The nation is endowed with an abundance of natural resources. Since ancient times, the chilly waters that surround the country have supplied abundant fishing chances, and this trend has continued right up until the present day. Although Lofoten is best known as a destination for tourism, the fishing industry continues to be an important contributor to the economy of the area. Agriculture has traditionally been a significant part of the economy, even though the winters may be quite harsh. But of course, Norway's fortunes altered drastically after the discovery of an additional resource that was even more valuable than the one that had been hiding beneath the waves: the finding of oil as a resource. Even as recently as the late 1950s, very few people working in the business believed that the Norwegian continental shelf, the ocean bed off the coast of Norway, may be rich in oil and gas deposits. However, recent discoveries have proven these beliefs wrong. Some people were convinced to take another look at the North Sea after it was discovered that gas had been discovered in the Netherlands. Phillips Petroleum was the first company to make a move, as they were the ones to submit a request for authorization to explore in the North Sea to the Norwegian government in the year 1962. At this moment, the Norwegian government asserted its sovereignty over extensive offshore regions, but at the same time, it granted permits to private businesses so that the latter might carry out seismic studies. In spite of a few early failures, the industry was able to get off the ground in 1969 because to the significant discovery of what is now called the Ekofisk field. The government steadily handed out licenses, most of which were granted to multinational corporations until the establishment of Statoil in 1972, which gave the state a direct role in the oil and gas industry. A substantial contributor, petroleum activities on the Norwegian continental shelf have financed a substantial portion of the Norwegian welfare state and contributed greatly to the growth of Norway's economy during the past 4 decades. According to the statistics provided by the government, the industry has been responsible for the creation of values that exceed 12,000 billion Norwegian krone. According to the official government website, the oil and gas industry is responsible for around 23% of the value creation in Norway. This percentage is more than twice as high as that of the manufacturing industry. While it is true that Norway's discovery of oil was entirely the result of chance, the manner in which the country has handled and put to use the large sums of money generated by the business is an entirely other tale. This specific fund. The Government Pension Fund Global is a fund that receives the extra wealth that is generated by the petroleum income in Norway and invests it. This wealth is deposited into the fund. The funding comes from a variety of sources, including taxes levied on operational firms, fees for exploration licenses, dividends from Statoil, which is partially owned by the state, and revenues from the state's direct financial interest in certain industries. In 1990, the fund was established in order to mitigate the potentially disruptive impacts of a decrease in income and to balance out the effects of shifting oil prices. Both of these factors were anticipated to occur. Because it is anticipated that the amount of money contributed to the fund would drastically decrease over the course of the next several years, there has never been a greater emphasis placed on the manner in which the money is invested. Due to the enormous size of the fund, its value is subject to large day-to-day fluctuations. Nonetheless, at the time this article was written, it was worth somewhat more than 8,000 billion Norwegian kroner. 2/3 of the fund's assets were invested in stock investments as of the 31st of December 2017, while slightly over 30% were invested in fixed income investments, and the remaining comparatively tiny amount was invested in real estate. The Norwegian Government Pension Fund Global is contributing to the nation's savings for future generations. The oil will run out one day, but the Norwegian population will continue to benefit from the return on the fund even after the oil is gone. And that brings us to the end of the video. Feel free to let us know what you think about this video. And if you like this video, then please leave a like and subscribe to our channel for more amazing content. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.